Peace. Good morning, everybody. Power 7 Podcast. It's your boy, Almighty Nicodemus, in full effect. Once again, coming at you. So, 50 years of hip-hop. Gonna go into part 2 of my timeline of hip-hop. And I left off last week just pretty much breaking down the founders as far as the DJing and b-boying and MCing goes. And so the last people I left off on talking about were the guys I called the Trinity, as far as the MCs, the guys who laid the foundation for the MCs that we have today, which was Cass, Grandmaster Cass, Melly Mel, and Kool Moe Dee. Now there were other MCs back then. There were other groups. You know, you had Fantastic, you had Funky 4+1, you had Busy B. So they weren't the only. So those three guys, like, I'm not saying they were the only ones, but like they're the foundation of what we call lyricism today. Now, back to the DJing side, you also have, you know, DST and different guys of that nature, but I did mention Afrika Bambaataa. Now, most people say that Bambaataa, Hurt, and Flash, those three are actually like the founding fathers of hip-hop. I left out Bam on purpose in the beginning because I don't believe that, because a lot of people don't know about DJ Mario. And I would consider him more of the founding father from my research and the history that I've learned over those three. Well, I would put him as the guy, and then Hurt and Flash. Now, Bam, with Bambaataa, because Bambaataa got a lot of his records, and he was Mario's protege. You know, his big brother, so to speak. And a lot of people don't, mention that. They don't mention Mario. But Bam, the thing about him that made him important to hip-hop is not only because of the records he spun, because he spun a lot of shit, eclectic and different shit when he did DJ. But when he went downtown to that punk scene, to the rock scene, to where the white kids was, it was very important in the expansion of hip-hop. And this is where hip-hop starts to blow up. And that's Bambaataa's major contribution, which is an important and strong contribution. So I see why he gets considered as the founding father. But I just wanted to give Mario some props because a lot of people don't know Mario. So when Bambaataa starts going downtown to these places and they're starting to take notice, hip-hop starts getting a lot of notoriety. They're everywhere. They've already been doing things during the 70s. And then once it takes off, we all know what happens after that. Sylvia Robinson is in a club somewhere, maybe in Harlem or something. I don't remember the name of the club, but she's in the club. She hears hip-hop going on and decides this needs to go on record. Fast forward, Sugar Hill Gang comes out and blows up. Now, mind you, before Sugar Hill Gang came out, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 also had recorded an album, which they recorded it on Enjoy Records, which was, I can't remember this brother's name because his last name is Robinson as well. But he put those guys out, and there was another album that came out as well another single, not an album, that came out as well before Sugar Hill. But Sugar Hill Gang is the group that blew up, that blew everything up, that put hip hop on the map outside of New York, where it goes outside of that area, that tri-state area up there, that East Coast area, where it goes everywhere. Now, a lot of albums now, Sugar Hill is putting out a lot of people. Treacherous 3, they're putting out, which is Kumo D's group. They're coming out with albums, with just singles. They're just doing singles at this time. They're not doing albums. It's just singles coming out or compilations coming out. So you got Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. They end up going to Sugar Hill Records as well. You got the Treacherous 3. Funky 4+1. They don't sign to Sugar Hill, but you know they do the first live performance for hip hop on Saturday Night Live. So you got them. And this is all like 78, 79. You know, and it moves over into 1980. Now, during these times and all these singles are coming out from all these different hip hop groups, it starts getting to a point because they're doing it with a live band. They're not doing it like it was done in the parks. They're doing it with a live band, playing familiar records. They're not doing samples. They're not using break beats off a record or anything. It's not even being done how they did it in the club. It's being done a totally different way. It's being done like they're making it like they're in a band. So hip hop is getting some popularity at the time. And I know I'm leaving out a lot of details. I know there'll be some people that have to comment or have something to say that like, well, you missed this or you forgot about that. I'm sorry. But by 1982, you know, hip hop starting to get old. People were already at this time, and when it comes out saying it's just going to be a fad, it's just going to blow in the wind anyway. And hip hop is getting old to people. You're not getting that same feel for what you had. The excitement is going away. You're not really getting albums. It's just not. It's starting to become, you know, kind of blasé. It's going to go back to just being a New York thing, honestly. By 1982, maybe 83, it's finna fall back. Until The Message and until Run DMC hits. And Run DMC, we all know, become a big, major thing for hip hop. And honestly, Run DMC are the guys who don't get credit nowadays, but they actually saved hip hop. I believe if Run DMC doesn't come out with their sound and their style and their look, courtesy of Russell and Rick, and of course, Mr. Larry Smith, hip hop would die. Hip hop dies, but it doesn't. And Run DMC, honestly, like I said, you don't hear about it a lot. They saved hip hop. So that's my part 2 on my hip hop timeline. I'll be back again next week with part 3, Hip Hop 50, as we go from the old school to the new school with Run DMC and how we press forward after that. It's the Almighty Nicodemus, Power 7 Podcast. I'm out.